Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. My name is Faezah Binti Abdul and I am accompanied by my two other team members, which are Syakirah Hanim Binti Zulkernain and Nursyaza Nisa Binti Arfarizal. So for today, we are going to present our final project for the ITS 1123, which is the program GPA. So I will pass the baton to Syakirah Hanim to further explain the process.
Thank you, Faezah. Now I will explain what our trick of coding this program. So we start with the hashtag, which is the comments. We put our names here, and then we go to the next, which is dot data, which is we can store the data that we want use later in the main function. So we start with MSG1, which is .skey, welcome to GPA calculator, and .skeys, please enter the number of subjects. Why we use .skey? Because we want to the next message, which is and please enter number, run together with the welcome to GPA calculator. And why we use .skeys? Because we don't want the message 2, 3, 4, and 5 run at the same time, so user can understand what input they should input in. So next we go to the pointer, which is we load the pointer for A, B, C, D, and F. BTS A, B, C, D, and F. The type of that we want to be used is dot double, because we want to store the decimal point. So we declare at this we declare as BTS A dot double 4.0. Here the decimal. So next we go to the dot text and dot globe main, which is we want to go to the main function, and next we go to the main function, which is dot text and dot globe main. So we want to prompt user to enter the data, so we want to print the string message 1. So we start here, LI register 04, which is 4 stand for call code to read the string, and then the register will look immediate. Next, the register of A0 will look address for message 1, and the system will print the message 1. So next we go to the read input, which is we use the look immediate for register V0 with code 5, which is stand for read int here, and then the system will call, which is the user can input the number of subject, and then the input in register V0 we store in register T0, because we move the input in register V0 into the register T0. Next, we want to initialize for loop letter, which is loop immediate register T1 with 1, which is when we want to start the register T. We want to initialize the register T1 with 1. Next, we want to initialize the total credit with 0, so we use the LI register T5 0. So we assume the total credit here is 0. So next, mtc.d register T5 register F2, which is we want to convert the data of register T5 into the register of frame point, which is register F2. Because later we want to do the calculation. We want to do the calculation with the frame point here. We go to the loop, which is we start with VGT register T1 register T0, and we know that register T1 we initialize as 1, register T0 we let the user input in. So we compare this. When the register T1 is greater than register T0, then the system will go here. This later Shaza will explain this. And then we want to print the counter. We want to print the MSG2 message 2. to prompt the user to input the data with code 4, which is a read string, and then we want print the counter, so let the user know what current number of subject they input in. And then we want to print the string, print string new line, which is we want to load the system doesn't load. We want load the system we doesn't want the system look messy. So next we want to read input credit, which is we use the code 5 for INT, and then the input we move into register T2. So here the register T2 we want to convert into the register F0, which is stand for frame point. So register T2 we move to register F0. Now we don't have the register T2. Now we have the register F0, which is stand for credit. And then the register F0 here, we want to say that, let's say user input 5 in register T2, and then 5 here, we go to here, not 5.0. So we want to convert from 5 to get 5.0. So we convert from integer to double the register of we want to convert the register that hold the INT to double. So we convert the register F0 and F0. So now the register F0 is hold the double value. So we go here and we do some calculation, which is we use add.d. D stand for double, which is the function. Why we use the d? Because we use the register that we use the register that we use the frame point register, so we must use add.d here. So we assume the add.d which is stand for total credit equal to total credit and credit. Next we go to Faezah.
Okay, after we have calculated the total credit, we will then print string for message 3. Okay, message 3 is to enter the grade for subject, and since this message 3 is a string, so we use the code 4 here. Okay, and after that we will print the counter I, this one. Okay, and since counter is an integer, so we print the code for print integer is 1, this one. Okay, and then we'll print the new line, and since new line is we have initialized the new line into string, so we use the code for. Next, we have to read input for grade, and since the code for read character is 12, we put 12 here. Okay, and after the user has input the grade, the character for the grade, we move the value in register B0 into register T4. After that, we will compare the value in register T4 with each of these grades, which is A, B, C, D, and F. But we need to pay extra attention because in letters, we know that we have capital letters and small letter. So what we should do is we need to compare the value that has been input into register T4 with the ASCII code of each of these characters. Okay, so for example, if the user input smaller letter A, okay, for the grade, and we compare it with 97, which is the ASCII code for smaller letter A. Okay, if it is equal, if the value in register T4 is equal to 97, it will branch to L1 here. What it will do next is that after it branches to L1, okay, we will load the double value of PTSA. This PTSA, we have initialized it earlier with the double value of 4.0. Okay, so it branches to L1, then it will load the double value of PTSA, which is 4.0, into the register F4. Then it will jump to next, J next here. Okay, and then same goes to the other characters entered. So if the user input capital letter for A, and then it will compare the register T4 with 65. Then it will compare the value entered by user with 65, and if it is equal, then it will also branch to L1 and do the same thing as how it does towards the smaller letter A. Otherwise, it will continue to proceed to the next instruction sequentially. Then it will proceed to the next instruction, which is to print invalid grade input, which is this one. Okay, we use the call code 4 because it is a string. Okay, and after that it will proceed to the next instruction, which is to load the double value of. Why do we use PTSF? Because when the user entered an invalid grade, it will print out the message 4, which is this one, invalid grade, and it will load the double of point F, PTSF, because it holds the same value, just like the point for grade F. Okay, therefore it will load the same double value, okay, into register F4 and then proceed to jump to next.
Thank you, Faezah. So now I will continue to explain on what happened at next and end. So what happened at next is we have to find the point grade and total point. So for the point grade, we have to multiply points with credit. In this case, we have to use multi multiplication for double. Then we have to multiply the points that is stored in F4 with the credit that is stored in F0. After that, we store it in F6. Next, we add D, which is addition for double for the total point. So for the total point, we must add the total point and point grade together. Then the contents of F8 will be added with the contents of F6, and then it is stored back in F8. Next, we use AD, which is addition for immediate, for the counter. So in AD, the specified immediate, which is in this case 1, will be added to the temporary register 1, and then it is stored back in temporary register 1. Then we use LI, load immediate. Then 4 is the syscall code to print string, print new line, load address of new line, syscall, and JLoop. So what happens in JLoop is JLoop will make it go back to the loop here. So the loop here is already explained by Faezah. So at the end here, we use div-D, which is a division for double, to find the GPA. So to find the GPA, we must divide the total point with the total credit. So the total point that is stored in F8 here will be divided with the total credit that is stored in F2. Then the value, which is the GPA, will be stored in F10. Next, we have to print string message 5 and print GPA. So when we print the string message 5, we use LI, load immediate. 4 is the syscall code to print to print string, load address of message 5, and syscall. So to print GPA, we use load immediate 3. So 3 is the syscall code to print double. Next, we use move D to move double. So we store our GPA in the F10. Then we need to move it to the floating register 12 because we need to print double. Then syscall exit, load immediate, then is the syscall code to exit, then syscall. That's all from our group. Thank you.